So, as we mentioned, this is going to be Nimbus. It's the first series of the evening here on the Foreign Hope, day number 2. Spawning up in the top left-hand position, playing for Team Liquid, it's the blue Terran, Bunny. And his opponent down to the lower left, the red Zerg, also playing for Team Liquid, it is Snute.
Traditionally, Bunny has done very, very well against Snute. I just remember the last few times that they played, so I was like, alright, I'm going to go ahead to Aligulak and take a look at what the exact score is. But in the last 4 series, and that, according to Aligulak, that's the only 4 series they ever played against each other in an official manner, Bunny won all 4 of them, which is a little bit shocking, because I really don't think there is any other foreigner out there that's like 4-0 in series that are longer than best of ones against Snute.
And in recent times as well, they've been pretty one-sided games and series. I think all of the games they've played since... Well, actually, all the games they played in a long time, actually.
Yeah, it was Gfinity, DreamHack. They played against each other in Fragbite as well. That's a little longer ago, but still not even that long ago, also this year. And they also played against each other, I believe, in one of the base trade tournaments. And in all 4 series, Bunny was able to win. So if Snute wins today, then at least he got that monkey off his back.
I mean, the thing is to remember as well that Snute isn't on tip-top form at the moment. He put out a blog post earlier in the week basically saying that he isn't going to be playing or isn't practicing as much as he usually will. This was actually going to be his last kind of more high-profile event that he was going to be taking in part with over the next kind of month or so while he had a break. So, be interesting to see how he does.
I think you drawing that conclusion a little too early though, because it's just like 2-3 weeks ago that DreamHack was going on, that Snute was still in the running for BlizzCon, that he was practicing for all those tournaments. He spent quite a bit of time in America as well, going to a couple of the Red Bull events. He went to IM Toronto. All those months he has actually been probably practicing like a full 110%, you know, giving it all. So it's not like 1 week after he writes a little post about like, hey guys, well, unfortunately I didn't make it to BlizzCon, that he's out of shape now. Things don't go that quick. Like, if this tournament was mid-December and the last tournament he played was DreamHack, then I definitely agree with you. But right now, I actually think that Snute should still be in very, very good shape. And I think he would feel the same.
Well, Snute, of course, is opening pretty standard at the moment in this game. He's grabbing down a gas at perfectly normal time. Meanwhile, Bunny is being rather ridiculously greedy, getting down a 3rd CC off the back of just this one Rax. His first Marine in production now is CC first into a Rax, into a 3rd CC, which is pretty much as economically focused as you could possibly be as a Terran.
Yep. It's indeed a very greedy opening. It's an opening that we have seen Bomber use a couple of times as well. The Red Bull Battlegrounds in Washington, D.C. Bomber still swears by this build. He loves it. Of course, the weakness of it is that when Zerg players see it immediately, which is the case right now for Snute. Snute is mining gas. It's not something that he really has to, because he knows there's not really any aggression that Bunny can throw it his way. But maybe he's just like, well, I already started it, so I may as well just finish it. But of course, Snute on his turn, he can be very greedy as well and should still be able to squeeze out a lot of drones and not fall too far behind economically.
I like the addition of this little bunker just at the front to be on the safe side, because if we actually look at Bunny's vision, he has none. He hasn't ventured outside of his own base, so doesn't know what Snute could be throwing at him, so just playing things a bit cautious. This bunker doesn't really cost very much in terms of the long-term goal, but it means that he's safe against a little bit of early pressure that could be coming. But Snute not doing anything like that. He is just droning up to the absolute extreme.
But this is really interesting, by the way, Meadows, because he has already mined 200 gas now. And okay, he's going to throw down an evolution chamber, both of them. And he hasn't started Zergling speed yet. So this might actually be, cool. Might be old school that he's going to try to get Zergling speed and all the upgrades at the same time. It's a pretty strong style if you can get away with it. Of course, it means that your layer in general is going to be a little later and stuff. But that's an interesting response from Snute.
It'll be fun to see where he actually goes through with this. Meanwhile, over on Bunny's side, just going to be getting some Hellions out, which pretty standard. Going to give him some map control. Going to be able to allow him to get some scouting information. Maybe harass Snute a bit if he is being a little bit too greedy. 1-1 upgrades now coming down from Snute. So this is a very, very cool style.
Interesting by Bunny as well, as he's going like 1 Rex into factory, into Rex number 2 and 3, and then he throws down engineering bay number 1 and 2. So it's greedy, but he could have been even more greedy if he really wanted to. He could have dropped those engineering bays before those additional Rexes, but then he truly has 0 units. And like you said, Bunny has not seen anything at all. These Hellions will literally represent the very first map vision that he ever has. This is like watching bombers play, watching Bomber play, pretty much.
Just waiting patiently. These Hellions, they're not going to see too much when they do move out across the map. Maybe able to get up into the main base. And if they see these double Evo chambers, that's probably the biggest, most important scout Bunny could get. Seeing that third hatch isn't going to come as a surprise when he knows the Overlord was able to see the third CC nice and quickly. The other thing which we haven't really touched on, Rotterdam, is that, of course, these two are teammates. And whenever you get a team kill, you end up in quite interesting situations a lot of the time because they know how each other play. And there's always that mind game of whether they go against their norm, whether they go with their norm, and how they counteract what they think their opponent may be doing.
Yep, we saw that yesterday a little bit as well when Scarlet went up against Bly. Scarlet just having the better hand of those reads, but yeah, most of the time it is indeed a little tricky. Now this is TvZ though, and there are only so many things that you can do to truly catch your opponent off guard early game. I think both these players will be good enough to just make it to a certain stage in the game. And you know, Snute also, I think at the home story cup, I was talking with him once upon a time that he was kind of laughing at the fact that some things were still called timings in this matchup. The moment that the first skirmishes are done, the moment that Terran has 2-2 upgrades, and the moment that ZvT is still in an okay position, that there is no such thing as the timing anymore. It will just all come down to engagement and execution. So yeah, even though yes, they know each other very well, I think in the end it will just come down to who is going to play better in this series. And I'm particularly curious to see if Snute will finally be able to defeat Bunny, because you almost feel like it's about time.
Well, Bunny is just waiting outside at the moment of the creep with these Hellions. Doesn't want to move too far forward, just wants to stop it spreading much further. Unfortunately for him, he did spend a scan just between the main and main and third, trying to see if anything was coming down there, but didn't really get to see anything other than a handful of speedlings. So, a little bit of information lacking for Bunny at the moment. He doesn't really know anything of what Snute's doing, who is just getting down his Spire now, adding in that macro hatch, as well as the fourth base. And I don't think, no, Bunny hasn't even seen the fourth either.
Well, he hasn't yet. He didn't. He could have tried to indeed be annoying there and try to snipe that drone a couple of times. He's going to roll up that ramp right now, and he's going to see that it's already there, and it's actually almost completed. This is 10 minutes and 20 seconds into the game, and that fourth hatchery is done. That is very, very quick. Snute will obviously be very happy if he never ends up losing that base. Bunny is moving out for the first time, so you could say that this is some sort of like a small timing, but if anything, it's much more than a poke. And again, it will just all come down to execution. The only bad thing for Snute is that he doesn't have any creep at all surrounding that fourth base. So this could get a little tricky, but he does have those 1-1 upgrades. And bailing speed will be ready in 15 seconds. This is really interesting. He kind of needs to save this, I feel.
Well, he's coming around from the back. There's quite a few banelings there. They need to get some good connections. The hatchery's going to get taken down. Not going to be able to save, and I doubt Snute is going to want to take an engagement here when there's not really anything to be gained from it unless Bunny continues to push. The Hellions just going for a little bit of roasting. We've got a few more speedlings coming out for Snute now. He's splitting up his banelings, looking in case Bunny tries to move forward, but Bunny backing out, and I think that's the right call. He did some great damage, and why engage, why push it further when you've just knocked a ZvT player onto equal bases?
Yeah, exactly. There's no need for Bunny to step on creep right now, because he probably knows that Snute is more than ready for it, because Snute had quite a bit of time to see that army working on his hatchery. Small mistake there by Snute, that he saw the army marching across the map so late. I guess he didn't expect it yet. The Hellions are transforming into Hellbats. This could get a very... this is a very tricky moment to fight. The 2-2 upgrades are not ready yet for Snute, though. They will be in 15 seconds. But he's going to fight with 1-1. It seems like an okay engagement at first, but I don't know.
He got a lot of the mines, which is going to be helpful for him, but those Hellbats, they're still going to be quite the problem. Waiting to see exactly where Snute tries to take this. He's backing out at the moment. Bunny lost a lot of momentum from the push there, having lost a lot of those mines, quite a few of the reinforcing marines. It's buying Snute time to morph in a lot of banelings, 27 of them.
Yeah, he used a lot of them in that previous attack. I don't think that was all that fantastic for Snute, also because he fought like 10-15 seconds before his 2-2 upgrades were ready. The next time they do it, of course, he will have 2-2 upgrades. And 2-2 right now is almost ready for Bunny, but it's not completely ready yet. Maybe Snute will be able to cancel this fourth command center. That would actually be a pretty big pickoff. There is one SCV that is trying to complete it, and he will complete it, so now Bunny can lift it if he wants to. That's actually a pretty big win. All the banelings gonna try to connect with all of these marines, but Hellbat's actually soaking up the majority of the banelings.
Yeah, those banelings don't really achieve that much. Quite a lot of the infantry was taken down though, and importantly, Snute was able to pick off the fourth command center. Even though, as you said, it could have been lifted, Bunny's attention was on splitting away from those banelings. Snute's Mutalisk's actually able to clean up most of this. We'll get a couple of medevacs. Going to be forced retreat at those marines come over, but 10 worker kills, a fourth base picked off, and pretty mutual losses in terms of the army supply. That was alright for Snute.
Yeah, that was definitely alright, especially because he picked out that 4th command center. If he didn't do that, I would have still been a tiny bit worried because, of course, he doesn't have an infestation pit, he doesn't have a layer on the way. It's really funny how that worked out, because the first time Snute fought like 10 seconds before his 2-2 upgrades were done, and this time he was actually to hit a beautiful moment, like 10-15 seconds before the 2-2 upgrades of Bunny were done. And above all, Bunny was in a little bit of an awkward position. He was really caught out in the open, and that makes controlling your Terran army very hard when there is a Zerg force between your main army and your reinforcements.
Bunny now posturing around this watchtower, looking to come in towards this 4th base again, trying to prevent that from getting up and running completely. Not a very large force here, though, for the Terran side. Quite a few Banelings up on the high ground for Snute. Good scan just to see if he is going to be safe. Trying to get those Widow Mines fired in a good position. Not going to get a chance to do so. Those Widow Mines, not really helping too much. The Banelings getting some good shots off, but a small chunk of Marines and Marauders still survive.
It was sort of acceptable though. During all this, Snute was counterattacking a little bit, but Bunny had plenty of Marines to take care of that. I feel that wasn't too bad. Losing a few of those Widow Mines, yeah, that's never nice, but Snute sacrificed a couple of Banelings as well, and Bunny is keeping on the pressure, which is preventing Snute from even thinking about throwing down an infestation pit or going up to a hive. And in just a matter of, let's say, 100 seconds, there will be 3-3 upgrades, and I mean, that's one of the oldest stories in the TvZ playbook, right? Have 3-3 while you kept your opponent on 2-2, and that's where the party starts.
A little surround trying to come in now from Snute. The Banelings coming in from behind could get a potential lot of damage down. A good number of them detonating on Marauders though. The rest are able to follow on through. Good splitting coming through from Bunny though. Will end up losing everything, although as cost effective as he could be considering those 2 angles.
Yeah, exactly. That was a very good engagement by Snute. Beautiful. Snute has always been very good in engagement, or at least ever since he became one of the top European players, and he just showed us why. If he rolls everything from the 4th base down that ramp, that fight will go a lot worse for him. I'm not saying that he won't win it, because he probably will eventually, but it definitely wouldn't have been as effective as it was this time. So, well done by good old Jens.
So, Bunny, still pinned on just the 3 bases. He's remaking his 4th command center at the moment. Importantly, 3-3 is only a few seconds away from completion for him. Probably by the next engagement he will have that, and as you mentioned earlier, Rotterdam, that is such an integral upgrade in ZvT. If you're a Terran player and you can get up to that 3-3 before Hive's even done for the Zerg, you're looking in a good spot for the next couple of minutes. So Bunny really coming into his own in terms of his opportunities that he's got now, but will want to deny this 4th base.
Yeah, Snute has quite a few Zerglings. He has a reasonable amount of Banelings as well. Bunny picking up every single Marine right now because he realized, oh, the Tor is getting a couple of massive shots off on all those Mutalisks. Now a couple of Zerglings are dying as well. That didn't go all that well for Snute. Once again, this is kind of an awkward moment as well. A couple of Banelings on the north side, but Bunny has just eyes everywhere. And Bunny's playing fantastic. He really learned already from the mistakes that he made yesterday against Scarlet. Look at all these units intercepting all these reinforcements and counterattacks non-stop. Really well done.
Checking around at the moment where Bunny is looking to go. He's just still pushing in from the right-hand side of this 4th base. Snute frantically trying to make some more Banelings. He's going to be going up to just over 30 odd. But Bunny's forces are looking a lot more formidable. What are your thoughts of these 2 Thors in the composition to counter these Mutalisks?
It's really smart because the Muta count is pretty high. It's at 22. So if those Thors just get a couple of shots off, it's completely worth it already. This is a really important fight now near that 4th base, but Snute just used the majority, actually all of his Banelings, and he didn't clean up most of these Marines. So Snute will again end up losing his 4th hatchery. At the same time, he tried to counterattack. He's been trying to counterattack throughout the entire game. But Bunny, like I said, he has really learned already from that game he played yesterday. Snute is not out of it yet, but losing that 4th base, oh, that really hurts. That hurts so much.
Quite a few Lings now, trying to pick off reinforcements. The majority of Snute's army actually coming across with this. The Baneling count not as high as it has been, down at 22, about 15 less, but gets some nice connections there up against a lot of Marines. Bunny attempting to split, bringing in more reinforcements to the south, and Snute is going to lose a lot of Mutalisks if he's not exceptionally careful. That wasn't ideal as those attacking units pull back into Snute's army there, and Snute, looking a bit worse for wear, is still slightly up in the overall supply, but if we look at the army supply, he's down. Plus, there's still that 3-3 upgrades for Bunny, and Snute hasn't even started his yet.
I just have like a smile on my face already, even though it's still so early. I'm already smiling because I think that was very well done by Bunny. He made those splits look so easy, but that wasn't all that easy because again, his units were caught out of position in the middle of the map, while a couple of Mutalisks get picked off as well. 4 or 5 Mutalisks. Snute really can't afford to lose 5 Mutalisks like that, but Excellent control there by Bunny. He's splitting on the north side, he's splitting on the south side, makes it all look so easy. Like, yeah, the first Banelings had a couple of really good connections, but after that, Bunny did pretty much everything right. Really, he's such a good Terran player. Bunny is, I don't know, he is the most improved player of 2014 when it comes to non-Koreans, I think.
I would agree with that. Bunny has been having an exceptional year so far. He's playing a great game at the moment, but we can't forget yesterday, up against Scarlet on this very map. Bunny was in a position where he looked unbeatable, but then it started going a little bit wrong for him.
Interesting. We have Enduring Locust on the way and +1 missile attacks. We know that Snute loves this. We know that he's very good with this as well. He is still trying to counterattack. Again, he is going to pick off a Tor. It's not like all of these counterattacks are unsuccessful. It's just, it's not snowballing. Bunny always seems to have enough units in place, and it kind of always feels like Bunny kills more than Snute is actually killing. But of course, you know, picking off an expensive unit like a Tor, and above all, keeping Bunny on his side of the map, those are nice victories for Snute.
Buying time is definitely Snute's aim at the moment. He wants to get those swarm hosts out. 6 are now in production, but Bunny's already moving across the map. They're not going to be out in time to, or at least in a good position in time, to be able to stop this. Bunny edging on forward. Snute is rather low in terms of the army supply here. He's down at 84 to 139 of Bunny. And just look at this spread from Bunny. He's so prepared for the Baneling engagement.
Snute is just going to try to counterattack once more because he realizes he can't fight that army straight up, so he's going to try to counterattack instead. There are a couple of swarm hosts out like you mentioned, but I really don't think 5 or 6 swarm hosts with +1 missile attacks is going to make the difference. One scan right now from Bunny could actually kill all these swarm hosts on the south side of the map. At the same time, Snute has finally found a small opening in the main of Bunny, but I feel that Bunny just has too many units out on the map to truly worry about this.
And that is something that Snute agrees with. GG is called, and Bunny is going to take the first game of this best of 3 series.